dear friends, welcome back again. We are so happy you popped over again to see what we are up to today. Of course, for everyone who is new here, welcome. We are Janny and Dyanne, and we hope you enjoy what you see. And if you do, of course, we hope you take a little bit of inspiration with you. For everyone who is here and is not subscribed to our channel, we hope you will click the red subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and tick the bell so you will be notified every time we upload new DIYs. Like we always say, enough talking, let's jump in today's inspiration. And you see already, everything is on the table for a new DIY. Of course, like everyone knows, it is the tumbling tile blocks, the little container with everything inside. I'm not going to repeat everything because I think a lot of you already can dream it. So, of course, some paint at your choice. And I have here my old piece of kitchen towel, which is wet to wipe away the glue. So these are the main things. And of course, what will we do without the wood glue? That's the most important. And of course, if you use hot glue, be careful, especially with this DIY, that it doesn't fall apart, because this one, it takes a little bit trickiness, and with hot glue it is always again tricky, but but that it doesn't fall apart. So I'm going to use wood glue, but you can take a very easy and cheap brand wood glue. You don't have to do an expensive one. So these are the main things we need for this DIY. What we're going to make, I'm going to make a kind of a double, a kind of a little basket. It will be a little bit in between. I don't know where it will bring me, but we will see how this will turn out. So we are going to start with the bottom, where we're going to build it further. So we're going to take 4 blocks and we are going to glue it on the longest side and this way, and we're going to place it against each other so the glue is not running away. We take number 4, we're going to squeeze it. We take again 4 blocks and we do the same. Number 2 and number 3, and number 4 is again the closure up. Squeeze it, press it together. We're going to repeat this again with number 3, and we're going to do it with number 4, and the last, of course, number 5. Then we have the first layer, but we're going to make another one. So this is already block number 3. Block number 4, I do it as fast as I can, and number 5, and of course the other one I will do a little faster because this is already taking off your time. So I'm going to do the other one a little faster. So in totally we are going to make 10 pieces of 4 blocks together like this. So we have now our 10 pieces of 4 blocks. What we're going to do, very easy, we're going to turn 5 of them around and we're going to look for which are fitting the best. You see already here's a little bit open gap. Maybe if I turn it around, it fits better, and it does. Now we're going to do some glue on the side. This is one. We do some glue on this side and on this one. And we do it over the last one, number 4, and we're going to place this against each other. We're going to place this over here, this one over here, and this one over here until we got one nice piece, and we're going to give it some pressure, because if we do it after a couple of minutes you still can redo it. That's what we want. We don't want too much open gaps, so just squeeze it and place it aside. We're going to do here the same. We're just going to turn it, going to look for which one is fitting the best. Maybe sometimes we have to turn it, maybe we have to check. This is really a nice fit, so we're going to do some glue over here, some glue on this side. Oh, we do it over here, and the last, number 4. And we're going to place it against each other. So easy. And this will be the bottom, and I do the bottom a little bit thicker, so I do 2 layers. But if you don't want to use too many blocks, then you just do 1 layer. So 1 layer of 5 rows of 4 blocks. But I like it a little bit thicker, so I'm going to go for a double layer. So we're going to squeeze it, wipe the glue away, and we're going to do some glue from this side and just make little turns over here, and make sure that you have it on each block and of course also on the sides. And now we're going to carefully and really carefully place it on top of here, and make sure that you have a straight line. Give it a little bit of pressure, but be careful. Feel with your fingers that you have it nicely on top of each other. So, and we're going to give this some time to dry. In the meantime, while our underpiece is drying, we're going to get 5 blocks, and we're going to glue them also on the longest side together. And it's already number 2, 3 and 4, and number 5 is here, of course, the closure up. We're going to squeeze it, place it aside, and of course wipe away the glue, because or else we are going to make one big mess, and I am really good in making a big mess. So this is already number 2, this is a number 3, and we're going to go for number 4, and the last, of course, number 5. And we also have to be 5 blocks, so we do it very fast. Number 1, 2, 3 and 4 is the closure up of number 5. Of course, squeeze it and make sure that everything has a nice straight line. And I do this together with you, but don't worry, I will not do the rest in totally. So again, this is number 3. I do the rest a little bit faster. So we have again our 5 blocks of 5, and we're going to look for how they are fitting again the best. And make sure that you look very carefully, because this is really important that it fits nicely, because this one will be not the total bottom, but will be the first layer of our kind of a double. I don't know if you really call it a double. A double also has sides, and I really have no idea how mine will turn out. So it's always a little tricky how it will turn out. Again, we're going to place this against each other. We do over. Oh, you see already this one. It's already really anxious to glue on top of here. So we're going to give it some pressure. We're going to squeeze it. Feel with your fingers so we have a nice straight line. And again, we're going to wipe away the glue over here. And we're going to give this also a little bit time to dry. The same like we did with the bottom. In the meantime, while that is also drying, we are going to get 5 blocks like this, and we're going to point them to the tops. So we're going to do very easy, some glue on the tops on this side, and of course on number 3 and number 4, and also here is the closure up is number 5. Again, we're going to squeeze it, and here is also very important, try to get a straight line. If you use a metal hook, it's fine too. If you like that to work against a metal hook, it's totally fine. You also can use something else which is just a straight line. You don't have to, if you don't have a metal hook, it's also fine. But try to get it as a nice shape as you can get. Of course with the blocks, because the blocks are not always the nicest side, especially the blocks I have lately. They are really crooked, so you have to work with what you have, and most of the time it always works, but it is a little bit of using your imagination sometimes. And again, make sure that you have a straight line, squeeze it from the side, go over it and wipe away the glue you don't need. And we're going to make not 8 of them. We are going to make 16 pieces of 5. So 16 pieces of 5 blocks together. And here you see our 16 pieces of 5, and we're going to let them dry because that's necessary, because we're going to give some pressure, because we want to make the sides of our dough ball. So we're going to give them some time. I'm going to place them over here, and of course place them also over here. I hope I have everywhere all the pieces I have. So all the 16 pieces we are going to lay away on a different mat, and we're going to let them dry in, and we are going to go further with the bottom. And you see ready for the bottom we have this double layer of 5 blocks of 4, but I told you you can do 1 if you think it's too much blocks. And of course I have here 1 with the 5 rows of 5 blocks. What we're going to do, this will be on top, but now he will be a little moment under. What we're going to do, we are going to do some glue again from this side to this side, and just go make a nice pattern of your blocks, and we're going to place it on top of this one, but of course in the middle, and we're going to give it some pressure from above, and we're going to look for that we have it on both sides the same length. And I think I'm very on the middle where I do need them, so I'm going to let this rest also before we're going to turn it over. So we turn this one over on this side, so you get, if everything is correctly, you have this on the side. So this is the bottom we're going to work with. We're going to get one of the pieces of 5, and we're going to make a thin line over here on the ending of the bottom. This is 1, and we're going to do 1 over here. And we're going to place this one halfway and give it some pressure and feel with your fingers. And we're going to do the other one also halfway, and again feel with your fingers if you have it in a straight line. And you're going to give it at least, now I think a quarter, 15 minutes. Here in the net we call it kwartier. So in the Netherlands we call 15 minutes een kwartier. So I'm going to let this rest in before we're going to do the next layer. So we gave it 15 minutes again, and we're going to do some glue on the ending of this block. And over here. And we do here the same at the ending, and we're going to build it up. Of course, we're going to place this one on top of here and give it a little bit of pressure in the middle, and make sure that where you want to have it. And we're going to place this one over here, and again give it some pressure, and then move it to the side where you want to have it. Of course, I have to look for that I have a little bit of the same measurement, and this way. And we're going to give this also again 15 minutes. Of course, it takes a little bit of your time, but at the end you will be happy that you waited a little while. So what I'm going to do, I have it in my hand. I have now the 2 layers, but of course there will be on the underside some glue which is popping out. Just take a simple brush and just go very lightly around the edges and just wipe away the glue, or else with painting you have so many glue on the underside, and that's not what you want. So every time you can easily, because I doubled up the bottom, you can easily get it in your hand and just wipe away lightly the glue. So it's always a very nice side. And already a tip, if you're going to sand it, or if you're going to do some wax or some staining, and at the ending when everything is finished, just sand your piece, because or else you get spots all over your place, because wood glue is great, but it gives some spots of stains on your wood. So always sand it first when you're going to give it some wax. So we did wipe away the glue, and now we're going to go for layer number 3. And again, make a thin line, and we do here the same. And of course it will be heavier and heavier on the sides. That's why it's, especially when you're big, building it higher and higher, that you make sure that you keep you on your 15 minutes, or else it will break apart, and that's not what you want. At least that's not what you started for. To make sure that everything is not falling down. And again, give it lightly a little pressure in the middle. And then again, give it 15 minutes again. So now we're going to go for layer number 4. And of course, this is the last layer I do together with you, because I think you already know how to glue this on top. And every time, take your time for it and just let it dry in, or else it will break immediately apart. I can guarantee you that it will break apart. I know from experience. So don't take it, don't do it too short. And again, we're going to give it, I'm going to move it a little bit around before I'm going to settle it, and I'm going to squeeze it over here and in the middle. And we're going to give this also again 15 minutes drying. So I have now already 6 layers high. I'm going to do 7 because I think for me it's more than enough. You see, this is the size. Of course, it's a little bit, you can decorate it with anything, because that's what I love. It is not too big, but you can do a lot of things inside. Some fruit, some Easter eggs, maybe some other decor. You can use it for organizing. You can use it for anything. So I'm going to go for 1 layer high. So I'm going to do 7 layers high, and the other 2 I'm going to use for the top. So don't worry, we are going to use them, but I'm going to do 7 layers high, because 8 I think is a little bit too much. So I'm going to place it over here. Again, the last one, I feel always with my fingers if I have the one with the straight line. It's always the best. I'm going to move it forward a little and then going to glue it on top of here. I'm going to go for this one. Also, we have to find the middle of the smoother side. And again, we move it around and we're going to place it on top, and we're going to let this dry. The whole piece we're going to let dry for a couple of hours. But in the meantime, we're going to make the middle piece a kind of a handle, but of course always with a little twist. So we have our 2 pieces which are left over. What we're already going to do, we're going to glue them together. We do some glue in the middle, and we're going to place them against each other this way in a very simple, easy way. So they can already dry in. We're going to wipe away the glue and we're going to let this dry. Now we're going to get 4 blocks. And here and here. And of course, this is already row number 1. And now we're going to do row number 2, at least for the other side. I already have 5. Of course, that's not correct. We need 4 pieces of 4. So we're going to glue them together, the same like we did, of course, the other layers. So very easy, place them in a 1 line. And again, number 4 is the closure up. And we're going to squeeze it and press it down. And we're going to do with this one the same. And later we are going to connect them together, because we want to make a little bit kind of a handle, but on top of the handle we're going to get some wooden ladders. But you see that in a moment. But this is a double, of course, kind of a double. I call it a double. Maybe you think it is not a double. But at least I give it that the name of kind of maybe a tray. You could also call it a tray. But of course, I left the sides open because I like that I can decorate also a little bit from the side out, and not everything is stopping at the ending. So you can give it a little bit more of a layer, but you also can do make a little container inside of your piece, and then you have a nice piece where you can decorate from. But I like also a little bit open so it can float out kind of on the table if you give it use it like a centerpiece. So again, we're going to let this dry in for I think a couple of minutes. We give it a couple of minutes. We do on one of the pieces, we do in the middle some glue, and we do in this one also a little bit of glue, And we're going to place them straight up against each other this way. And we do here the same. And again, make sure squeeze it a little, not too hard because it is not totally dry yet. So just give it some squeeze and just make sure that you have a straight line, or else it doesn't fit on your double later or tray. So I'm going to give this a couple of at least an hour rest before we go further. So we gave our 3 pieces, which we'll use as a kind of an overlap over the little tray or double. We are going to do some letters on the big one, and of course I have here my bag with all my wooden letters, and they were so cheap. That's why I bought a couple of them. I bought a lot of them. So I'm going to use a very easy word. I'm just going to use the word design, but you can use a brand you have there in your home, which you like. My idea was Riverdale, but it was too long to do it on top. But you can do blessed, you can do thankful, you can do love, maybe of home, you can do anything. I'm just going to glue on top. I'm going to glue design, but I'm going to do it on the biggest one. So do your word on the biggest one of this one. So it is very easy. I'm just going to do a little wood glue over here, and I'm going to start here, and so I'm going to work my way to the ending. So we did let everything dry for a couple of hours, but he's not totally dry, so we still need to be careful. This is how the side is now looking like, but later we do, of course, the handle in between. That I did these 2 pieces, and of course our word design over here, but he is still drying, so we're going to do it a little bit careful. I'm going to start to paint my double in the creamy color, but choose any color you like. The only thing, like I told you earlier, if you want to stain it, just give it some sanding. So, but I'm going to give it from the inside out. I'm going to give it a nice creamy color. But of course, like I told you, I'm going to do it very careful because it is tricky, because he's not totally dry. If you want to have it really dry, then you have to leave it overnight. So I have all the parts almost painted, but first, because I only need to do the underside of the sign over here, but I'm going to place this aside. And don't mind the big mess on the table because it is a big mess. I'm going to glue this one, this over here, and this one will be on top of here, like this. And I'm going to do it with a wood glue. So very easy, and you see already this is not fitting, so I have to place them down this way. This is better. It fits better. I don't know why he's not want to lay down on one way. On another one he doesn't want to lay down this way. And I'm going to do some glue on the top side, of course, and I'm going to do it on this side, and I'm going to place them against here, and I give them a little bit of pressure, and I do here the same. Place it together and give it some pressure. Of course, now I don't can stop my camera, so I will cut a piece off, but this is already the way to glue it, and then we're going to do the whole piece on top of the double. So for everyone who enjoys to see how easy it is to decorate just this kind of tray, or how you call double, of course it is a double with a twist. I know the normal doubles are for the wood color, and of course with a little opening. I really love them, but of course you don't find them here too much. So what I'm going to do it very easy, but I want to give it a nice rustic look. So I'm going to have here my piece, and I'm going to use a very simple chicken. I bought them in a garden center, and he was very cheap. I think he was €5, similar like dollars. So what I'm going to do always when I do a kind of a centerpiece, I place this one because it's a hard piece. I'm going to do some sticky gum on the underside and I'm going to place it in the middle. And of course I hope if I squeeze it that he will be fitting inside. Of course I have to place him a little bit down because he's a little bit too big. So I'm going to work with it so it's fitting under here. The chicken is under it. It was a little bit of a task because I thought he was smaller than he was. We are going to get 2 pieces of fern, and of course this one are from IKEA, from a plant. I always rip the plants apart from IKEA because they have a really nice greenery. So I'm going to place one on this side next to the chicken and the other one will be on the other side. But of course I think I'm going to go in front line or maybe on the back. I don't really know. Maybe this way. I think I'm going to go for this one. So work my way around it. I don't want that it is sticking out too much, so I'm going to lead it to the back over here. Later you don't see it anymore. So this is already one. Now we get some eucalyptus, and I have some different kind of branches. They are also from IKEA and always rip them also apart. I do one over here. I do one over here. Of course I have to go this side. And I think I'm going to lay an extra again over here. And this one will be over here and sticking out on this side. Now what I'm going to do, I have this kind of plant from IKEA. I think if you look, it's also one big plant, and I also ripped all the pieces. I think there are 9 tops on top, and this is so easy. You also in your decor, you just stick it in. You can do it in a bottle, you can do it in anything, and it's so great because the greenery of IKEA is so great. So I'm going to place one over here. I'm going to place, and always work with them, give them a little bit of shape. Of course you place one over here. You do on the back side, because don't forget the back side over here. And we do one on the other side. Of course we place them open again, and we place one over here. And I see one lime wire over here. And now I'm going to do one in the middle, in front, so we build in our rooster. And we're going to do one over here. And you see already he looks already very nice and comfort inside of this. So I have now here pieces of boxwood, and this were also, you see, still a little piece of a garland. I always buy a garland and then you can rip them apart. I do most of the time a couple of 5 pieces together, do a little elastic band on it, and you can have little kind of dots of boxwood, and you just place them inside. And I'm going to do one over here, and so you get a nice coloring of your greenery, because you don't want to that it is boring to look like. So we're going to do one over here, and maybe we're going to do one in the middle of the greenery. And of course I have to do it on this side also, and of course in a moment I will look if I have it on the correct place. And now we go for a little bit of coloring, but not too much, and I'm going to go for this one. This was also a branch I bought in a garden center here in the Netherlands, and this is a very cheap garden center. It's called Oostenrijk, but sadly enough they don't send outside of the Netherlands. So we are going to place this one so in here to give it a kind of a nesting feeling. We do one on this side, and we're just going to work our way inside. And now we have one over here. Of course we have to look for that it has a straight line, because this one is really crooked. But sometimes they are stuck in something. I have to go a little bit more down. And here we have another one. And we're going to place this one on the other side, because there is still no of this. And of course you can go as crazy as you like with greenery. because I always love greenery, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. And I place one in the middle. So, and how easy it is, you only have a couple of pieces of greenery, you have one rooster, and you're already fit to go to make a nice centerpiece out of it. And like I said, I did for this word, but you choose any word you like. In the moment you see the quick impression, and here you see finally a quick impression of my tumbling tile blocks, and like I said, with a twist, my kind of a double or maybe tray, just how you call it. Of course, I hope you enjoy this and you are going to make one for yourself. And if you're only here to watch, I hope you had fun watching again. For everyone who is new here, of course, I hope you enjoy what you saw, and if you do, I hope you will click the red subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and of course click the bell so you will be notified every time we upload new DIYs. Do you want to see more DIYs? Come on over to our description box, there you find the link for our DIY channels. Of course, like I always say, enough talking. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!